Good morning, sir. In this video, we will going to discuss about the Tolman's purposive behaviorism. But before we proceed to our discussion, let me introduce to you my group mates who will be teaching you the topic that I've been stating. Starting with Miss Arjinjoy Arpon, followed by Miss Zipril Siles, Miss Christine Jean Inumar, and Miss Aldim Ferl Piscadero. And before we proceed to our discussion about purposive behaviorism, Miss Arpon will give you a quick and short background about Edward Tolman.
Good day to each and everyone, especially to our instructor, Mr. Roter Bianan. I hope everyone is doing well. Our topic for today is all about Tolman's purposive behaviorism. In this topic, it consists the biography of Tolman and the principal of ideas of his theory, which is purposive behaviorism, and also about the molar as behavior. In our group, I am assigned to discuss the biography and the principal ideas of his theory, which is purposive behaviorism. So here is the biography of Edward Chase Tolman. So Tolman, born in Newton, Mass, April 14, 1886, died on November 19, 1959. In 1911, earned B.S. from Mass Institute of Technology. In 1912, introduced Gestalt Psychology. In 1915, earned doctorate from Harvard Retroactive Inhibition. So let's proceed to his principal ideas of his theory, purposive behaviorism. Here is the principal ideas of his theory, purposive behaviorism. He called this approach in purposive behavior in animals and men 1932. Since B, he and others have called it a sign gestalt theory or an expectancy theory. In his writing, gestalt ideas play a prominent role. Purposive means that behavior is regulated in accordance with objectivity, determinable ends. He rejected Watson's behaviorism almost as vigorously as he rejected Kitchener's structuralism, because Watson's behaviorism was molecular and tended to neglect the problems of goal-seeking behavior. The particular movements involved are less important than patterning what the organism is getting at. It is genuine behaviorism. It rigidly rejects introspection as a method. His reference to consciousness refers to interpretation of observed behavior. Tolman did not accept verbal report as adage to smuggle consciousness in through the back door. He writes every behavior act. Insofar it is continued going off is contingent upon the proving to be such and such specific features in the environment, must be said to recognize those features. Whenever an organism at a given moment of stimulation shifts then and there from being ready to respond in some relatively less. His system is a molar rather than molecular behaviorism, interested in the distinctive properties of an act of behavior, not the muscular, glandular, or neural processes that underlie it. In outlook and independence from physiology in sharp contrast to Pavlov.
So hi, this is a continuation of our report about Tolman's purposive behaviorism. So we all know that Tolman's purposive behaviorism, it implied a performance, the achievement of an altered relationship between organism and environment. So there are three types of Tolman's purposive behaviorism. First, we have here behaviorism was functional and pragmatic. Second, behaviorism was involved motivation and cognition. Third, behaviorism revealed purpose. So the first was behavior is functional and pragmatic. This is the type of behavior which is sila yung sensible to behave. Like they're so serious type. You can sense him or her being practical, rational, or very down to earth. Like all he or she behaves is a function to the society or the community where you live. So you're that kind of person that you will thought a very specific decision or a very specific suggestion that gives impact or function to the society or in the community or in the environment. So let's proceed to the second one. Behavior involve motivation and cognition. So in this type of behavior, it is motivational or more likely to be a role model. So see for example, you're just watching him or you're just watching her and you just feel so motivated by just on how she or he acts or how his or her personality acts through inside the community or in the society. So you can also get some of the traits to have contributed in your mental action or process, because this is also one of acquiring knowledge and understanding through experiences and senses. So let's proceed to the third type of purposive behaviorism of Tolman. It is the last, behavior revealed purpose. So this type of behavior is just like actual situation, like on how you act or more, is just revealing a purpose. Even if you didn't have an interaction or a chit chat, more likely they can know or identify who kind of personality you are by just watching or just uh, viewing on how you act inside the community or inside the society. So see for example, you are new in that community, and many of lots of the people didn't know you so well. So by just on how you act, so they can have an idea on what kind of personalities are you by just on how you behave inside the society. So behaviorism or the behavioral learning theory is a popular concept that focuses on how students learn, behaviorism interaction with an environment. So we have here latent learn remains or stays until needed. So we have here short term, this type of learning that is outwardly manifested at once. So see for example for this latent learning is the situation of you are tasked to teach two female kids to use a remote control, and then that two female kids has an ability of learning of latent learning, like a long-term memory and a short-term memory. So the first kid you thought is she acquired it once, or you just thought her once and she already acquired it and she already know it and never forget it. And the second one, she acquired it but she's still asking you for guidance.
Hi, good morning, sir. I am Ms. Enumar, the third presenter of the group, and I will be discuss about a behavior as moral. Among the reasons to be a moral and integral regardless of occupation are to make society better. When we help making society better, we are rewarded with also making better own lives and the lives of our families and friends. Without moral conduct, society would be a miserable place. Tolman's thought that learning developed from a knowledge about the environment and how the organism relates to its environment. So I will give you a brief discussion about the behaviorism. So what is behaviorism? Behaviorism is the theory that psychology can be objectively studied through observation action. An example of behaviorism if when teachers reward the class or the students with a party or a special treat after the end of the week for good behavior throughout the week. So the same concept is used with punishment. The teacher can take away certain privilege if the students misbehave. Behavior as moral include goals. Goals is directed behavior is always a getting toward something or getting away from something. Description of any behavior should include what the organism doing, what is it trying to do, and where is it going. So for example, the cat is trying to get out of the box while the carpenter is building a house or earning a living. Moral behavior is flexible. In other words, it is teachable if it is mechanical and stereotype. Like spina, reflex, it is belong at the molecular level. Sign learning, it learns the sign that tell it where it is and where it can find reward. Thus, it is sometimes called stimulus, which is SS. Theory rather than a stimulus response theory, or SR. So that's all. Thank you.
Tolman's alternative is that the learner is following signs to a goal, is learning his way about following some sort of map. In other words, Tolman's alternative is learning not movements but meanings. The organism learns a behavior route, not a movement pattern. Experiments were devised to compare these two alternatives. Also, placed learning experiment shows that the learner does not move from start to goal according to the fixed sequence of movements, as Watson and Hall move, predict, but can appropriately vary behavior under changed conditions, as though he knows where the goal is. One example was the cross-elevated maze. The response learning group always found food at right. Placed learning group always at the same place. Placed learning group learned much faster and some animals in the response. Learning group never learned.